Okay, so we're now broadcasting. My name is Lindy. I'm with the Tots 100, and we're here with Alex from Data Cool, Claire from Being a Mummy, Emma from Emma and 3, Layla from Girls and Gadgets, Nicola from Stressy Mummy. So welcome everyone, and we want to introduce Ben Walton, who is an ironing specialist. He has a few, you've won a few competitions and things like that. So if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Oh yeah, my name's Ben Walton. I was the ironing world record holder for marathon ironing. I ironed constantly for 75 hours. Unfortunately, that's been beaten now. Someone's done 80 hours. So toward the end of this year, I've got to do it again. I'm going to be doing 85 hours. We did 1,202 pieces last time, so it'll be a few more than that. But I was very fortunate enough last time. I don't know if you can see behind, we've got the 2 irons there. I used the predecessor to that one for the comfy grip for the last ironing marathon. It got through the full 75 hours, and it is actually still going strong. I can vouch for that one. And then we've got the Elite iron there, which is pressurized steam iron. An absolutely fantastic iron. I know you guys have been using it for the last few weeks or so. So, any ironing questions you want to ask me, any questions about the irons you want to ask me, just go ahead, and I will be happy to answer them in the best way I can as an ironing guru.
Yeah. Well, let me kick it off by asking what your #1 top tip for ironing is.
Steam. Steam is my top tip for anybody who's doing any form of iron, especially shirts and that sort of thing. A lot of people think that the heat of the sole plate and the actual pressure that you're pushing down on the iron is what makes a good flat surface. It's not. It's the steam and how you dry that steam off which gives you a good finish. If you've got a good iron with a good steam pressure, using steam to start with on the first lay, basically, and then when stopping the steam and going over with just the heat of the iron, that will dry out the fibres. The steam moisturizes basically the fibres, relaxes them all off, and then when you dry it off with the heat of the iron, that's what gives you the nice finish. It's not real heavy pushing down. In the olden days when they had the big old flat irons and that sort of thing, that's what was causing the pressure. They didn't have the benefits of steam back then, but nowadays, especially with sole plates like on these, you don't need huge amounts of pressure. You just need to let the iron glide over the surface. Steam first, gliding second.
How did you find the difference between, because they're very different irons, how did any of you find the 2 different styles of ironing, the one with the never-ending steam, and then the smaller, more traditional version? Emma, how did you find that?
Yeah, I love the steam one. It speeded up. You know, I do my ironing in one go on a Sunday, and it was much quicker. I got through the pile much quicker, and I've got all the school uniforms, and husband's a teacher, so all his shirts, and it was just much quicker than normal.
Mm-hmm. Alex, being a man, I'm sure you have loads of experience ironing. How did you find the? I know Claire's laughing. How did you find them? Do you have any questions for Ben as sort of?
A couple of things really. I tend to put an exceptionally long film on, like Lord of the Rings Extended Edition, while I iron 5 shirts. And because I didn't hit the steam button very often, it kept on turning itself off, which was odd. But I have trouble with shirt sleeves.
Okay.
Where they're all gathered and pleated round the wrist.
Yeah.
How the dickens you supposed to do that?
Okay. I'm going to stand up. Hang on. Right. Can you see me?
Yeah, we can see you.
You've got. Can you hear me still?
Yes.
Excellent stuff. Right, you've got to be a little bit ambidextrous. That's the way to get. You're talking about getting into the top half of the cuff like that.
Yeah, round there, the side there where it's all pleated.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what you do, obviously you have the. I've got 2 irons, so I've got not a lot of space, but you obviously do the top half of the shirt sleeve. Then when you want to get down in there, you want to pick it up. Don't leave it flat, because you can't get in there if you leave it flat. So pick it up and draw the tip of the iron into those pleats. So you've got like a little bit of air underneath, and that will give you those pleats at the top. Once you've done that side, just flip it over, and you're doing exactly the same again. I mean, this shirt's not got pleats on the other side, but there are obviously shirts that have got full pleats in there. So you pick up one side. Let me come closer. So if you're on there, you literally pick up that side and run the iron in with it off the board. Don't sort of keep it on the board. That would be the best tip to try and get those little pleats. And use the tip of the iron. The tip of the iron is just as hot as all the rest, so you can use that tip of the iron to get in there. If you want to spray, I'm a fan of spray starch personally. You can give it a little spray of spray starch and use the tip of the iron to get the starch in there if you want a nice crisp. That's the way I do it, but you do need to be a little bit ambidextrous and use two hands.
Okay, excellent. Thanks for that, Ben. I never would have thought to.
Can I just interject there? One of the problems I have when I'm doing Alex's shirts is that he's so big. He's got those extra long sleeves, and so when I do that with them, I end up crumpling the front, and I'm going back round and round in circles because I'm kind of because the ironing board's not big enough.
Okay.
So would you recommend doing that first or doing the front first?
The way I would always do a shirt would be collar, shoulders, sleeves, and then work front, side, back, side, front. So you're working all the way around. Then you're not crushing anything up as you go along.
Okay.
Or if they are that big,
they are enormous.
have a chair or something in front of the ironing board, so it can go onto the chair.
Oh, okay.
As opposed to going on the floor and just sort of hanging around.
Yeah, that sounds good. Thanks.
That's okay.
Layla, I wanted to ask you, as sort of the gadget girl in the group, how did you find the irons, and did you have any questions for Ben?
Well, I mean, I have to say, having discovered steam irons, I don't think I could go back to the old irons, to be honest with you. I think, you know, it really does cut the time of ironing, and also I find as well that you know those kind of dresses and kind of fine knit stuff that you're that with an old iron you wouldn't even dream of kind of using. I find with the steam you can kind of really easily, really quickly get creases out. One thing I did love about the kind of the old school iron, if you like, was the design and everything about it. It does look quite funky. So yeah, I do think that steam is definitely the way forward, though, and certainly, my husband as well, being somebody who hates ironing, absolutely hates it. It's even he's kind of starting to iron his own shirts, which is a good thing.
Layla,
yeah.
Did you try sort of horizontal ironing?
Sorry?
Did you try horizontal ironing with
the steam? The steam,
yeah, sort of having things on hangers and using the steam to blast them with.
That's how I do it.
Yeah, brilliant, absolutely.
That's the only way. That's how I do it, because it all started with a going out dress that I had, and I remember turning around to my husband going, "Oh my gosh, that took like no time at all." So ever since then, I just whack everything on a hanger, hang it on the side of the door, and I'm standing there like this. My 2-year-old son Alex thinks it's hilarious. Mummy. Every time I bring him clothes in the morning now, he's like, "Mummy, you iron them." So yeah.
Excellent.
It's a great time saver.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and again, it's something you wouldn't expect to be able to do with an iron, to be able to to steam iron it like as if it was just a steamer. So that's a great option.
Yeah, jumping in there, Lindy. I did the curtains that way as well, and it was brilliant for just getting out the creases. You can never work out how to iron a curtain, but that just really was easy.
I was just about to say curtains as well, because in my son's room, his curtains kind of run by his bed's beside the wall, so they all get crumpled up at the bottom, and it's perfect for it. It really is.
That's great. Nikki, did you want to give us a bit of have any questions or any feedback on the irons that you tried out? Because I read your post about how you weren't much of an ironing person.
No, not really. I wrote a post, in fact, a couple of months ago about the fact that I iron as little as possible, actually. And if you read my review of the Power Steam Elite, I absolutely loved it. It just completely changed my view of ironing, because I could get, like everybody else has said, you can get through everything so quickly and easily. And I was amazed at how well it worked. So, no, it was good, really good. But no questions, really. Just I just think it's fab. I mean, I like both the irons, but it's definitely the Power Steam Elite is just amazing. I've been recommending it to everybody and saying how brilliant it is. So
Great.
Just finding someone to store it.
it is quite big, yeah. But it fits together quite neatly, doesn't it? So as long as you've got a space, it's quite good. And when people come in, I've had a few people. It was my son's birthday, and a few people sort of came in and went, "Oh my God, what's that?" So I was quick to explain and say how brilliant it was. So. No, it's great.
I did have a couple of questions for Ben. I sort of asked the team if they had any questions, and I had a couple of good ones. And I think you already answered one of them, which was sole plates. Because I know when I was sort of in the market for an iron a while back, there's so many different sole plates. And which one do you sort of? Does it matter? Because it's all about the.
It does matter. It does. The better quality sole plate you can get on an iron, the easier the ironing is going to be. I mean, you've gone from like Teflon, and I think this one's got the ionic sole plate on there, which it just makes the whole ironing experience easier. If the iron will actually glide and slide across the fabric instead of having to be pushed, then obviously it's going to make the ironing a lot easier, and it's going to make it a lot less of a chore. You still need to take care of the irons, make sure they're clean. Using distilled water and that sort of thing in irons is always good, because that will also prolong the life of the iron.
That was going to be my next question. Distilled versus tap. You say distilled.
If you can. To be honest, it's not everybody can, and not everybody sort of has the time to. But then again, there are a lot of water hard and soft areas. You do get limescale build up and that sort of thing from tap water. So distilled is great. The benefits of things like the Elite is the water is pressurized and pumped through, so you're not going to get anything clogging up. Whereas the Comfy Grip, the water sits in there and you do need to empty it out. If you're really sort of anal about it and that sort of thing, which I am, you do need to keep good sort of a good clean iron. You do need to empty them out. But with the Elite, you can leave the water in there because it doesn't sit in the mechanicals of the iron. It just sits in the reservoir. So ideally distilled, but really, does everybody have the time to? Not really. So use whatever water you can.
Yeah. Claire, do you have any other questions or any feedback from the iron? I know that you and Alex both gave it a bit of a go.
Well, the thing that puzzled, I thought it was brilliant for the sheets and the duvet cover and stuff like that, but the thing that really puzzled me was where to put the water unit, because it didn't really seem to fit on the ironing board. Then I thought, if I put it on the floor, then you've got to wait for it to cool down to move it. So actually, that's not very convenient either. So I wondered what people were doing about that.
Yeah, I've been the same actually. I had it on my ironing board to start with, and then I thought this is taking up too much space on my ironing board. But I wasn't sure about putting it on the unit. I didn't know if it'd mark it or something. I just had it on the ironing board.
I wouldn't have. I've not really looked into it. I've always had it on the end of the ironing board, and either that or on a chair or something next to it. I actually took it in. I own a dry cleaners, hence the ironing. I'm not just crazy mad ironing man. I do actually do it for a living. I took it into work, and we used it on the ironing boards at the shop, purely for the space if we didn't have anywhere else to put it. I can understand what you mean. It's a big unit. It really is a big unit, but it's sort of weighing up the pros and cons of having the unit and having the quick ironing. You can't really have a pressurized boiler and that sort of thing in a smaller container with.
I think the problem is with my shirts, they're actually longer than the ironing board, the body of them. So
I've tended to find that whenever I've used it on an ironing board, if I was honest, most of the time I put it on the floor because I hang my shirts up on the door handle, so that's how I tend to iron. But when I have used it, an ironing board that's up, I have just popped it on a chair, to be honest with you, so that I've just got all the space. And it's been fine. I've had no problems with kind of length or anything, so.
That's good. And I think someone's already mentioned bed sheets, because that was another one of the questions. Ironing bed sheets. Did anyone give that a go?
Well, when I did that, it's not something that I usually do, because I'm not. Because by the time I've ironed Alex's shirts, it's like ironing about 500 meters of sheeting anyway. But I did think that I'd have a go with the duvet and the sheets on our bed, and the steam iron was brilliant for that. It did it in about the whole lot in about 5 minutes flat. And the benefit of, I realised the benefit of ironing my sheets is that they all fit nicely in the airing cupboard rather than being in a massive sort of scrunched jumble. So I might actually carry on and do that.
Claire, when you iron them, how did you iron them? Did you lay them out and do the whole lot individually?
No, I folded them up.
Brilliant. Yeah, that's the thing with that, especially with, was it the Elite you used for that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean with the steam that pushes through, you could probably do in half and in half again.
Yes.
In half again. Use lots of steam. The steam will go through those layers, and you'll get a nice bit. It's a bit of a cheat, but it's dead quick. You can fold it up into how you want it in the airing cupboard. Do the top layer, pop it away, and it's done.
Yeah, brilliant.
Okay. All right, great. I'm very conscious of the fact that on my end, I'm showing that I'm having connectivity issues, and I don't want to lose the broadcast. So I'm going to go ahead and just end the broadcast now. I think we've been at it for about 20 minutes or so. Not as long as we wanted, but I don't want to lose all this video. I think Phil will probably lose his mind if we do. So I'll go ahead and end the broadcast.